So today I'm going to show you how to set up the NORTENT Gamme 6 PC. PC stands for their polycotton version. They also have a Silnylon version as well, but the setup is identical for both versions. So the Gamme 6 comes with 5 poles. So before you set up the tent, bring the tent out of the bag, especially if it's windy conditions. If you're on an iced over lake, get the pole set up first. So with the Gamme 6, 2 poles have colored ends and 3 poles have black ends. The ones with the colored ends are the longer poles. The first thing we want to do is identify the long sleeve on the tent, and then we're going to use one of the black poles. And as you're making sure as you're going through not to snag, if you see a little kink, just try and straighten it out. There we go. Yeah, you shouldn't get any resistance as you're pushing it through, or minimal resistance, I should say. Okay, so now the first pole's in. We're simply going to insert it into the black cups. I'll show you those now. Another good practice is to make sure you extend all of your straps before you put the tent away. So, black pole into the black cup. Now we're going to do that at the other end. Now we have the first pole in, we're going to stake out one side and then lift the tent up. In the center of each door there's a guy out point. That's where we're going to put the first stake. Now I'm not using NORTENT stakes, they're really good stakes, but the ground is getting frozen now. I've got about 2 or 3 inches of permafrost, so it's not quite snow stake level, and as the snow is not very deep, so I'm going to be using some just big giant nails basically. So you can see the first stake is in and it's in the center position of the door. Now what we're going to do, we're going to move to the other side and we're going to pull out the other door and stake that in as well. So in goes the second stake. The next step is grab one of the long poles. So remember there's 2 long poles and they'll have a colored end. So find your colored cup, which will be next to the black cup, and insert your pole. And then go around the back of the tent and do the same again. So now the second pole's in its sleeve, we can start clipping it in. So we have one more long pole left with the colored end, and we're just going to do exactly the same thing as we did with the other pole. So into the green cup. And into the green cup on the other end. And again, we'll start clipping this in. Okay, a couple more clips left. Okay, we have 2 black poles left. They were the shorter poles, and they're going to go in the 2 short sleeves. But first, to do that, we're going to reduce the tension. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting to get them through the sleeve. So to do this, what we're simply going to do is undo the first pole out of its cup. You don't have to take the cup out of the far end, as that'll probably come out on its own. But what you want to do is get the top of the tent kind of flat. So when you're putting the last two poles through the short sleeves, make sure they're under this pole here. Now we're going to simply reinsert our first pole back into the black sleeve. Okay, so now we have the first pole back in place. We can start inserting the last two poles into their cups. So as you're doing this, there's a little bit of tension, but nothing that's not manageable. And the very last pole's going in. Now simply go around and connect all the clips. And even in -10, like it is today, with the wind chill of -18, they use nylon at NORTENT, so it does flex. It's not going to snap like some cheap plastic. So there's a ton of guy out points on this tent. So with these type of guy lines, what you want to do is spin it round once first, and then pull the guy line out. And that just reduces the tension on the tent material and also on the poles itself. So don't do this, do this. Now one of the last things to do is just pull all the snow skirts out. So at the end of the tents where these three poles intersect, we have these Velcro straps. So simply feed these through and into there and loop through like that. So if it's really windy, you can attach all the guy lines, but I find with just a few staked in, this tent is such a well designed aerodynamically that the wind just goes right over the top. So the Gamme 6 PC is fully set up now. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe, and you know where to leave any comments. Thank you, and see you on the next video.